This is basically represents what we won this year. Hard to fathom that we actually won on slots.
Vegas Matt gambled every day and won $14,214 in 2025. But what's the odds of gambling that much and actually ending up ahead? Well, let's do the math. So he uploaded 365 YouTube videos in 2025 with an average duration of 50 minutes and 12.27 seconds. This time is divided into slots, table games, and some miscellaneous intros, outros, and other just sort of discussions without gambling. So let's say that on average, they play 42 minutes of slots per video. Now, I watched some footage and I came to an average of a spin about every 4 seconds. So this is 630 spins per day. Now, their typical bet is $50, and they do have some variance here, and we'll get into that in a minute. But if we use the $50 bet, this would mean a typical day they wager $31,500 on slots. Now, assuming a 92% return to player in the downtown high limit rooms that they tend to play in, this would give an expected daily loss of $2,520 and an annual loss of $919,800. Ouch. Okay, so assuming a standard deviation of 8 bets per spin, which I think is actually very high, this is a graph of expected outcomes. Now, notice how almost no outcomes have them losing less than $300,000. Now, a lot of this does get dwarfed by some of these big bets. So, for example, if we say that 5 days a year, they actually really fired it in there and bet maybe an average bet of $500, we get a graph that's more like this one. The expected loss actually goes over $1 million, but we at least see that break-even's somewhere on the graph. So to see the chance of a winning year on just slots, we can calculate how many standard deviations we are from $0. The annual standard deviation comes to $294,400, which puts us just over 3 standard deviations from the mean to break even, meaning that this tiny percent, or 1 in 4,500 years, should be a winning year. Now, if we account for a few other things like winning a $100,000 hand, then maybe on slots to break even for the year, they actually could lose like $200,000, but even that gives a break-even chance of effectively 0 or 1 in 430 years. That said, in a lot of videos, they really chase losses with get even or get even worse. This is hard to really mathematically quantify, but it results in a lot more winning or break-even days than you'd expect. And to be clear, these dramatically hurt the actual expected loss, but it also just adds a ton of variance. And that variance worked out, so they nearly won 60% of these on top of a couple giant slot wins. So I think that played a huge role in them having a winning year, and I'd guess it put their chances of winning maybe in the 1 or 2% range, but let me know what you think.